Hey there, it's Nathalie, and I think it's time for another cheap, fast, and easy project. Okay, so I just finished this rocking chair and put the, showed you how to make the cushions for this vintage rocking chair. Anyway, I have a seed sack, not a feed sack, but a seed sack that I got at probably for $1 at a garage sale or an estate sale. Anyway, and I already had some fiberfill left over from other projects, little polyfill left over from other projects. So this is probably about maybe a 30-minute project, and then I tied it up on the top so it kind of looked like the little old feed sack kind of look. Anyway, so let's go get started on this. I'm going to cut this at 12.5 because I want to pull up the little ears on the corners of it, kind of like old-fashioned feed sacks. And so I want to have enough room to do that. So I'm going to just use my rotary cutter, cut this at 12.5. There we go. And then my son came in a while ago, just a little bit ago, and said, "You cut the name off." And I'm like, I didn't want the zip code on there. So there's the name, Poolville, Texas, and it's got a zip code. That means post 60s, I don't know exactly when. And I cut it real close here on that. But I'm going to stitch this. Before I put this together, I'm going to stitch this onto the back, and then it'll be with the sack. And then so I'm just going to stitch one complete row at the top and close this in a little bit to almost like maybe leave about 12 inches open, and then poke in some fiberfill. I'm going to turn this wrong side out before I go to, or right sides together before I go to the sewing machine. So I'm going to flip this over like that. And then this is the side that I'm going to stitch from. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine. It's all stitched. Got an opening. So I'm going to turn it right sides out. Poked out the corners. Now I have this piece of polyfill low loft quilt batting, and I used it for another project, so I've got some of that left over, and I am going to use this. And then I have some, it's called cluster stuff, and I love this. It's really nice and puffy, but our Walmart store does not have this anymore, and I just have a little bit. I don't think I have enough for the entire pillow, so I'm going to use this for the main part. And so I am using what I have on hand to do this. I have another pillow I could have unstuffed to do this. This one that's kind of in my stash of stuff. I think this will be a good start. And then so there's my city name on the back, so he'll be happy with me about that. All right, let's do this cluster stuff. And I like it because it's like some of the polyfill, it's all in the big, this is all in like really cool little knotty looking stuff. And it just feels wonderful in a pillow. So we'll put that up in the corners. Not all the way up in that corner, because this corner I'm going to tie up. And I have some baker's twine, red and white, to do that. You notice I don't have my companion. I'm not sure where she is, but she would probably have a time with this stuff. To be used, so it doesn't have to be like super puffy or anything like that. I think that's going to be good. And I'm going to stitch up the bottom of that. I'm going to close this using a ladder stitch, and if you, I thought, well, I was going to just have you go back and watch one of my other videos, but just in case you don't want to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and show you here. So I've buried the knot in my thread inside the seam, and then what I'm going to do, and I'm working away from me, you can work whichever direction you want to go, but this I thought would be the easiest. So, and my seams are kind of like not laid over the top of each other, they're just kind of side by side. Now there's where my thread came out on this side, and that I'm just going to go right straight across, just like the rung of a ladder, and I'm going to take up just, I mean, depends on how fine your fabric is, on how far you want to go with that, how close together you want your stitches. So here's my come out place. Then I'm going to go back in on this side, a little stitch, and so then you can see it's just really kind of like the rung of a ladder. And you can pinch it up. Let me see if I can pinch this up without getting my hands in the way of, so that you can't see. Okay, so like here it is, straight across. And then just back and forth. I like to close it up as I go so that I don't wind up with a knot or something. It's just easier that way. And then about every 5 or 6 stitches I will do a double stitch, just in case, like if there was a break, then it wouldn't all come undone. So I'm going to do like a little double stitch right here, just to secure that. Okay, and now I'm ready to tie off, so I am going to take a stitch, you get this thread where you can see it, there it is, like there, and I am going to put this in from the bottom, lap it around, and so where it makes like a figure 8. Can you see that little figure 8 right there? And then I'm going to just pull that thread right on through. And I'm going to do that twice. So stitch through. Let me get this up where you can see it. I mean, I could do this without you looking at this, but I want you to see it. All right. So now I have this loop. I'm going to come up from the bottom, push that needle over, wrap it around the bottom, where it makes a figure 8. The loop's going to, and sometimes it'll just make a figure 8 on its own, and you just loop into the top of it, and then pull that down, and there we have it. After I fought with this stupid package of baker's twine and to find the end of it, I decided really that it was too bright, and that's not what I want. And I have this really neat kind of nubby yarn, and I've used it in several of my other projects. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to use. Cute. I think that's the way kind of little feed sacks look. So both of the corners have got that. Let's go see what it looks like on the rocking chair. Here's the little seed sack pillow, all nice and finished and in its new home, and I think it's just the perfect touch for this rocking chair. Hey, and if you like this video, give me a little thumbs up. Be sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for stopping by. Bye.